reduce your sugar intake, because less sugar, you want to by nature eat more, it's going to reduce your calories. Plus also usually the sugary things are added with a bunch of stuff that could, contribute to fatty liver, contribute to some burden that could be just a little too highly processed. So therefore, by doing all these things, from calories to protein to water to getting your thyroid normal to helping your liver not have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, you're now put your body in a state to where you can lose weight. We want that to be lifelong. We don't want somebody to drop 25 pounds in 3 months and then gain it back just over time.
Hey doc.
Yes.
How to test your gut?
It's very difficult, because I'm a very big advocate of like stool testing, but you gotta remember, it's not exact science. Even some of the science shows that the microbials are very diverse, and sometimes even the ratios, what they believe it is, it's off. So can we get an overall general idea of some microbials from a stool test? Absolutely. Can we do like a Zonlin test that shows some gap junction changes? Absolutely. What I tell people is this, is there are some decent diagnostics out there from a stool test, from a urine test, from blood work, to see how the whole GI system could be responding. But I don't even have a problem with certain medical tests if they're warranted, like even a colonoscopy to see if there's any ulcerations, infections, cancers. So really what happens is start somewhere. Just do something that gives you a good idea. Now, once again, I would tell people just in general, I'd start with a stool test. It gives us some good absorption, some of the immune factors, some of the microbials. And as science works out a little bit more about some of the major levels, I think those tests will get more accurate and better. Is testing a GI an exact science? No, that's why labs always change on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hey doc.
Yes.
Low libido, or am I just not interested?
I would tell you right now, it can be both. Let me explain. I actually watched a video the other day, and I was actually saddened by the video, because there was this influencer. She's pretty big in Hollywood that way. Not an actress, actually. She's more of an agent, but I kind of know who she is. And she talked about pellet therapy. Now, once again, there's benefits and there's consequences to any kind of therapy. But she said, listen, my testosterone was at 150. Now, if you watch some of our past videos, that scares the heck out of me. And because she's like, man, my sex drive was so huge. She goes, I feel like, I've never been that way in my life, and it just feels amazing. Well, of course it does, because you are bioidentically putting it to a level that I believe that woman should not be. There's no range for, and she was menopausal, to be at 150, being a cyclic. Now, therefore, she even said she has sex drive massively every day about that way. I'm like going, okay, but my point is this. But here's what happens. When you look at even not interested, I see that all the time. Here, ladies, just in general, may sound really weird. If you have a man that's not motivated, has no drive, sits on the couch, watches TV, if you have a guy who's starting to let himself go and gaining weight, does nothing romantic, a guy that, for example, is broke, let me ask you a question. Would you be interested? Would you blame your sister, your mother, your friend to be interested in a guy like that, or not be interested even if they're married? That's just, yeah. So is there hormonal issues? Absolutely. Is there stimulation issues? Absolutely. But you know some of this? If you have low hormones and you start to get them normal, a woman's going to have some libido. And ladies, look at a guy that has his mind, muscle, and money together, and you'd probably be a little bit turned on. Just my thoughts.
Thanks. Hey doc.
Yes.
Do you have a weight loss challenge?
Not directly named that, but I want you to think about this. When you start to get people back on, a normal, good, unprocessed, getting away from highly processed foods, getting people away from having too much sugar consumption, because if you have sugar consumption too high for too long, which leads to a lot of calories, your glucose can get elevated, which is a bad thing. Your hemoglobin A1C can be elevated, which is a bad thing, and that can contribute, just like having too many calories can contribute to it. And usually when you eat too much sugar, you end up eating too many calories. That's kind of the correlation. And then what happens is this. So we're trying to do lifestyle things as far as move more towards protein. Because why? You can eat a significant amount of protein and still keep your calories low. And it helps you be satisfied. reduce your sugar intake, because less sugar, you want to by nature eat more, it's going to reduce your calories. Plus also usually the sugary things are added with a bunch of stuff that could, contribute to fatty liver, contribute to some burden that could be just a little too highly processed. So therefore, by doing all these things, from calories to protein to water to getting your thyroid normal to helping your liver not have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, you're now put your body in a state to where you can lose weight. And so therefore, and we want that to be lifelong. We don't want somebody to drop 25 pounds in 3 months and then gain it back just over time.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
What are the best and worst ways to get potassium in a diet?
Well, let's just talk about the best ways, because the worst thing is just not have potassium, because you can eat a lot of foods that have good potassium, and there are ones that are higher. If you want to stick more plant-based, beet tops, like beets and the greens, the beet tops are the most. We look at spinach, Brussels sprouts, coconut water, cabbage, tomatoes, Swiss chard, avocados, white beans. Now more in the meat realm, if you're more of an animal carnivore person, tuna, round steak, beef liver, sardines, lamb. Some nuts can also be almonds, pistachios, and pumpkin seeds. And once again, eggs even have some potassium. Now, I guess I will tell you this, and I have to do this because, so let's say this is the worst way. Because I don't eat enough, I actually take about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of potassium per day through pill form. Now, once again, so the best would say foods, the worst would say it's a supplement, but even I have to supplement because I think most people do, because we don't get on the average of 4,700 milligrams per day.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Hey, Doc.
Yes.
Where to get my hormones checked?
First of all, you have to know what to get checked. And so I'm a very component of doing blood and urine together, and the urine test is a Dutch. Second of all, there's blood work I like to do in combination, because you can't get all labs from just a Dutch, just like you can't get all the labs from just doing blood work. So therefore, blood work can be done just going to a lab. And the reason why a lot of people just don't go to the lab is because they have to pay for it directly. To get your doctor to do all the labs you want is very difficult, because they always have to justify things for insurance, and they don't really have a justification for saying, what your hormones are abnormal for. So that's why they don't measure them that much. That's one of the main reasons why your doctors don't do a lot of stuff, is because they have to try justifying your insurance. But if you're willing to pay cash, you can get it done by a doctor, you can get it done by a lab, you can get it done by anybody that can just run them, as long as you want to pay cash for them.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Hey everyone, for unedited, full-length, unapologetic content, go to my website, drpatrickflynn.com. Hit the subscribe button to join our community for more amazing content like this every day.